if for no other reason than that she has added one to the extremely small brigade of women artists of the first rank. Lady Alma Tadema has unquestionably earned the appreciation of every picture lover in this country. The genius of Rosa Bonheur and of Lady Butler enriched the art of the Victorian era after a fashion which we all admire and cherish today. The close of the 19th and the opening of the 20th century have laid us under a certain debt of gratitude to Lady Alma Tadema, inasmuch as these years have witnessed her gradual rise to a position of real eminence in the world of art. Of her immediate contemporaries, the names of Miss L, Mrs. Jopling, Henrietta Rae, and Miss Campbell-Welch at once suggest themselves as representatives of the art of the age, who have done much to remove the implied reproach that women artists of British birth have not loomed as large as might be on the artistic horizon. Lady Alma Tadema has in a few short years struck out a line for herself which has
invested her work as a painter with a pleasing individuality and a peculiar charm all its own. The subject of this appreciation would doubtless be the first to insist upon the value of the benefit which her husband's teaching and criticism, as well as her observation of his methods, must have been to her. On the other hand, Sir Lawrence Alma Tadema would, in all probability, stoutly aver that as the artist's soul is not an artificial growth, it is only by suggestion and by implication that he has directly aided his wife's inspiration for painting. Certain it is that Lady Tadema's work has progressed so far on the path to perfection that he might well feel proud who had been privileged to act as guide, philosopher, and friend in the earlier period of her art career. As a matter of fact, she became Sir Lawrence's pupil when she was a girl of 18. She is proud to affirm that she is his pupil still. Lady Alma Tadema has exhibited at the Royal Academy for 20 years.
She was decorated by the Paris Universal Exposition, where her exquisite painting won her the silver medal in 1900. 4 years earlier, however, she had won the gold medal of the Berlin exhibition with her Satisfaction, a lady admiring herself in the looking glass, which is now the cherished property of Sir Bruce Seaton. In the present year she exhibited in London both at the Royal Academy and at the New Gallery. Love's Beginning is the title of the Academy picture, which has been greatly admired. The New Gallery subject, Sweet Industry, has been acquired by the Manchester Art Corporation. Lady Tadema paints in her own studio at her beautiful home in St. John's Wood, and a very dainty apartment it is. Imagine a room designed by nature for a boudoir, by art for a studio, and by expediency for both. Its dominant and distinctive note is Dutch Renaissance, for the old oak woodwork and carving have been translated from wood, in Holland, as the fruit of Sir Lawrence's desire to make his wife a studio after her own heart. The 16th century oaken roof and carvings are effectively kept in countenance by the stained glass of the windows, delicately designed and finished, and shedding a restful and appropriate light. In short, a workroom to be proud
of. It has a lovely little amir in the shape of the quaintest of Dutch bedrooms, the date on the bedpost, 1606, telling you that the bed itself hails from Sir Lawrence's native Friesland. This small room is utilized by Lady Tadema as a storehouse of ideas to figure in her pictures when she is working. It appears highly probable that before many years have elapsed, the Lady Tadema girl will have attained at least some such celebrity as either the Du Maurier girl or the Dana Gibson girl. If the reader glances at several of the pictures reproduced with this article, he will perceive at once what I mean by this description. The artist seems to have been enormously attracted towards the contemporary styles of Dutch Renaissance and the Stuart period of English history. Her delineations of winsome cavalier maidens are things of beauty that set us thinking of a past age when fire and sword ruled England, and the spinning wheel was frequently silent what time young heroes of the cape and sword were concealed in the castle keep. Lady Tadema has successfully caught the spirit of that time in bad old England, and her variations upon it are among the most successful of the romantic themes that she best loves to depict on canvas. There is the same old-world air about many of her pictures that is shed upon one in the room she paints them in. Her quaintly dressed children and mothers, says Mr. Fred Miller, suggest Hawthorne's Scarlet Letter. Hester Prynne and Pearl. Her women and children are not dressed as if about to take the air in Hyde Park, but, then, their surroundings are not those of Kensington or Bayswater. There is no deep significance about her subjects, for though garbed after the fashion of other days, the story of their lives is such as we all understand. If there be pathos, it is the homely pathos of everyday existence, while the painter rarely touches the tragic note. That, to my thinking, gives Lady Tadema's pictures much of their charm, for the story element is not thrust upon the observer. So much in art that would be pathetic is only bathos, while drama, alas, becomes turgid melodrama, for both qualities are so easily overdone, which makes the judicious grieve. Some of the finest art in the world deals with everyday folk in the ordinary relations of life, and much art has been wrecked by the attempt to be forcible and untoward. The gentler passions which, fortunately for our happiness, most frequently move us, inspire Lady Tadema's brush, and, the workmanship being all that it should be, her pictures would be delightful to live with, whereas one soon tires of work that pretends to too much. Lady Tadema's work will stay. Her touch is sure, her expression clear, and, better than all, she is not a pessimist. Mr. Henley would not have written of her pictures what might be written of so many. Where are the passions they essayed, and where the tears they made to flow? Where the wild humours they portrayed for laughing worlds to see and know? Into the night go one and all. Her works mostly stand for brightness and grace, with no background of the gloomy or unnatural. It is not hers to stand alone, in the darkness in front. To turn to a few more of her leading pictures, Lady Tadema was represented in the Royal Academy of 1894 by the very dainty picture entitled Persuasion, for the inspiration of which she took two familiar lines from Shakespeare. The silence often of pure innocence persuades when speaking fails. In 1895, this was followed by a very striking canvas, Love's Curse, exhibited in the New Gallery. In the Royal Academy and the New Gallery of 1896, Lady Tadema was represented by The Carol and The Ring, respectively. The former subject owed its inspiration to the familiar Shakespearean lines. It was a lover and his lass, with a hey, and a ho, and a hey nonny no. Her two pictures of 1897 were entitled, A Ring at the Door, and A Pledge. Of these, the first named is exhibited this year at the St. Louis Exposition. A Pledge, very quaintly and sincerely represents two young men drinking to the health of a girl. In 1899 came, the new book, chiefly remarkable for its wonderful coloring. Next year we had, The Poet's Flower, in which is shown a young girl reading a love sonnet. In the Guildhall Art Exhibition of 1900, the exhibition in aid of the War Fund, was shown a very remarkable picture by Lady Tadema, The Shadow of the Future. It was purchased by H.R.H. the Prince of Wales. In the Academy of 1902, Lady Tadema was represented by Early Discipline, a delicious study of a child beating a doll, and last year by The First Born, which in some respects is her most notable picture. The technique, the tone coloring generally, and the tenderness imparted to the attitude of the mother, combine, with other qualities, to render it one of the most noteworthy pictures of our time. On this shore was written a very charming poem, Miss Lawrence Alma Tadema. The capital of South Australia is exceedingly fortunate in owning for its own Lady Alma Tadema's The Pain of Parting, which was exhibited first in the Royal Academy of 1895, and secondly in the Paris Salon of 1896. The artist explained its true inwardness by two delightful lines quoted from Burns, printed in the catalogue. I can but canna part, my bonny dearie. This picture shows its author at her very best. Lady Tadema, whose Christian names are Laura Teresa, is a daughter of George N. Epps, MRCS. The painting of her brother, Drive Epps, is one of the most lifelike among Sir L. Alma Tadema's numerous fine portrait studies. The position which she adorns in the social life of artistic London is too well known to call for reference in an article which has been planned chiefly for the purpose of introducing the accompanying reproductions of her graceful work as a painter of picture poems.